are we doing? That's so bad.
We have to educate people about it and make them learn more about what they need in their lives.
It's no different. It's just find the opportunity, get it to the right person, and then keep moving. All right. Well, we have a very special new guest here today. We have another lady on the EPP team. We have Stephen and a Heath and now a Therese. Therese, would you like to say hi to our listeners, viewers? Everybody know how awesome you are?
Hey there, how are you guys today? We hope you're doing really well. I'm excited to be on the Agency Performance Partners team. Excited to talk about insurance and all those great things about insurance and all the stuff we can do with selling insurance to all of our clients. Excited to
Yes.
be here.
Well, and Therese has a long insurance experience. She could also kick all of our butts because she's not a one-time black belt, but a two-time black belt. If anybody is out of line, Therese is the enforcer at APP. Therese also is bilingual, which is very exciting. How many years did you live in Guatemala?
I lived in Guatemala for 12 years.
She can also speak a whole different language where my high school Spanish just got me to count to 10.
It's
But
quite an experience.
we're talking about wow customer service today. And Therese, maybe talk a little bit about your background in insurance and the things that you've done so that everybody knows how awesomely qualified you are to talk about this topic.
So I was a teacher in Guatemala, and when I moved back to the United States, my teaching degree from Guatemala didn't work here in the United States, so I had to find something. So when I moved to North Carolina, my current husband had gone to his insurance agent, and the insurance agent, of course, was trying to sell him life insurance and mentioned that his fiance was unemployed at the time, and I had just moved here. But his insurance agent was like, "Oh, bring her in." He hired me the next day. So I went into the insurance courses, took the course for a week, took the test on Saturday, passed it, and I was an insurance agent. Woohoo! And everybody needs insurance. So I figured it was a good career to get into. So I was with him 8 years as newbie learning insurance and ended up being his office manager. Then moved to another agency in Durham. So I'm in North Carolina. That one was in Cherry, North Carolina. Moved to one in Durham. Was there for a while as their office manager and then moved over to another agency in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, doing some marketing. But I also did continuing education training on the side for the state of North Carolina, a company called Insurance Career Training. So I was doing that as well. So I was trying to combine my teaching along with the insurance and along with my Spanish, because I did have a lot of Spanish clients as well. I've been all the way around customer service, sales, office manager, marketing, and I just enjoy the insurance side of it, ins and outs of insurance, and training, educating other people about insurance and how it works. Because it is a complicated thing, and we have to educate people about it and make them learn more about what they need in their lives.
Absolutely. And that all starts with the frontline team, right? And we're very passionate about getting that frontline team the training that they need. Many agencies, people will train you how to quote a policy, how to do an endorsement, but we don't talk about how to make that customer feel awesome about their insurance. And that's something our WOW customer service course is bringing out to this industry. We have three main things we need to talk about today is how do we get the customer service team, both licensed and not licensed, to think about cross-selling and online reviews and asking for referrals. And so let's start with cross-selling because there is that push-pull of licensed, not licensed. Some are, some aren't. And I'm just going to tell a quick story that I think you'll resonate with you. We were working with an agency on job descriptions and I put in the director of first impressions, refresh receptionist job description, tee up cross sells to the team. And they were like, well, no, I have to take that out. I'm like, why? Sometimes people take it out because oh, the phones are too busy. We need them just passing the phones. This agency that was in it's like, they're not licensed. They said, hold on. Somebody calls in to make their payment. You can absolutely say, hey, how come you don't have renter's insurance with us? Let me take your payment, but let me get an agent to help you with that. And they were like, no, that can't happen. And I was just like, yeah, it can. It can. So I'm curious in the agencies you managed, what was some of the wins you felt like you had on getting people to have the light bulb about cross selling? And where do you feel like some of the challenges were?
Well, in the first agency I worked at, the lady that worked at the front desk was not licensed, and she had been there forever.
Right.
They hired her to do outbound calls, and she started in an upstairs room just doing outbound calls, and then she became their receptionist. And the amount of knowledge that she had about insurance because she has been there so long, and
Yeah. And the customers.
oh my goodness, it was extraordinary. So what she started doing is she would start talking to the client about an incident she had, And then she'd go into how it related to insurance and how she needed a policy. And it was like, that's genius because she's telling her story about why she needed the insurance. She's not licensed. She is just telling a story about why she needed a policy that makes the client start thinking, oh, I might need a policy like that too. Just the way they answer the phone, just the relationship they have with the client, more than likely they have a better relationship with the client than the agent does because they talk to them more because they answer the phone. So like, oh yeah, this person's calling again. So the building rapport part of that, your unlicensed staff could be the one that could sell more policies than the rest of us. And even though they can't write it, they can pass it to somebody else who can.
Yep. That's all they have to do is tee it up.
Yep, move it over.
And we say that even interdepartmentally, like a lot of people have a hang up on life insurance, like, oh, I'm not licensed. What if they ask questions I don't know? I go, all you gotta do is just get them there. Just like if you're personal lines, you don't know anything about commercial or don't know much. It's no different. It's just find the opportunity, get it to the right person, and then keep moving. So I think obviously you and I are both passionate about cross-selling, but sometimes in agencies, not everybody is. So the common pushback I always hear is like, well, we're so busy, right? We can't cross sell. We're so busy. And I always think it's kind of funny. I'm like, well, what's more important than making sure your client has the right policies? Like, what are we doing? That's so bad. But I think the big hang up is agents get into transaction mode, right? Client calls, they tell me their problem. I do the transaction and solve it, and I go on to the next one. I think you and I are passionate about like, well, let's make that an experience, not a transaction, right?
Right.
If somebody's out there listening and maybe they were in a manager operations role like you were, what tips do you have to get the manager to get that through people's heads a little bit more?
Well, you have to start small. A lot of people don't like change. They don't like to do things differently. They've been doing it the same way over and over again, and they're comfortable. So you have to start real small. Sometimes the way they answer the phone, hey, this is agent, this is Teresa, the Agency Performance Partners, and I know that you like, how can I make your day better, or how can I make your day great?
Best call of your day.
Yes, the best call of your day, and that's perfect because they're like, whoa, wait a minute, I have to answer that when they're on the other side of the phone. And they're like, "Oh, well, I don't know." It just starts a conversation. So I think we and I have this problem, and I learned this culturally. I always go right to the point. And I found that it's part of my culture. Us Americans, sometimes we just go right to the point. So when I moved to Guatemala, people are like, you have to say good morning. You have to say hello. How are you? So I found that when I moved back to the States, I got into that again where I was just going straight to the point. And I realized that doesn't work. So when you start talking to the client, little mentions of, let me verify your information. Oh, I see that you have an auto policy with us, but I don't see that you have a property policy. Do you rent or own your home? Easiest question in the book. And of course, they love to answer that. They're not going to say, oh, I don't want to tell you. They
Right.
answer it pretty quickly because it's so easy.
Yep.
So little small questions that that person can ask that can make all the difference. When something happens to your family, insurance is one of the first companies that people reach out to because they
Yes.
want to know about that insurance. And if you don't have all of it, that puts the client at a disadvantage. So getting all their policies in one place helps not only the agency, but it helps the client. So if something happens, they can call one place.
Yeah, and I think I like the idea of like the starting small because I feel like it's like overwhelming for some people to think, how do I do it? And I think sometimes in the account manager or a customer service rep's heads, I'm already so overwhelmed. If I ask Therese about her renters and I have to quote it, then I have to bind it, then it's another policy to service. And I haven't gone to the bathroom today. Why am I going to do that? And I say, guys, like that is a inside your head. You have to think about the client and if you truly believe you give good customer service, that's making sure people are educated. And if you have to take 30 seconds to educate somebody about another policy, you've planted the seed, let them do their thing. And I kind of joke around sometimes. I'm like, what you're saying in your head means that you have a 100% closing ratio.
Right.
You won't. So you can't think every time you ask somebody, they're automatically be like, absolutely, give me life insurance right now.
Right.
Most people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you do that. Like, I'll let you know if I need it," and you move on. I think that the baby steps, and I think a lot of people are fear what they don't know, right? So they're scared what the client might say. They want to be liked by the client. They feel they're gonna be pushy, the P word. I
Yep.
hate. And so that's a great tip. Now, if we move on to online reviews, like these are so important and so valuable. And I think a lot of times we just forget about them. Would you say that's true? Like most
Yeah.
agents just kind of forget. They hope they get them, but did
Right.
you have any really good strategies you use to help people get those online reviews?
Yes, online reviews are huge. One of the things that my boss brought to me when I was doing marketing was he had a plumber come to his house And he came to me and he said, "Look at this on my cell phone. Look at this." And he showed me this text message he'd received. And it was a text message from the plumber with a link to go right to Google reviews. And the secret is if you have a cell phone, more than likely you have a Google account that's connected to that cell phone and it's already logged in.
Yeah.
So since it's already logged in, when you click that link on your cell phone, it opens right up to the stars for that company. And you click a star and you can put a comment if you want, but most people don't. But you click a star and you're done. So that's the easiest way to get a review that ever existed. So if you have the ability to send it in a text message, fabulous. Some people don't like text. Some agencies don't like it. There's some legalities to it. So a lot of agencies or agents are like, no, we can't text. So the next best thing is when you send an email, you can put a link to your Google review in your signature of your email. That will also, if you love my service today, please don't hesitate to click the link below and review our agent. So that's the second tip on getting reviews. I mean, you do have to have a marketing person that can get you those links specifically in Google My Business. And that's not a real hard thing to do. That's something that somebody needs help. We could help them over there with that as well.
Yeah. It's to just get the email template, make it easy for them. I love the text though. I think that's a good idea. Cause I know I would do it. Like if somebody just texted me and I'd just be like, cool, here you go, click link. You're awesome. Like, thanks for making it easy for me. Right. I love the text ideas. And agencies out there, if you're not texting clients, I think that you need to think through that a little bit. Like clients love it. It's easier. Your team will grow, love it. Yes, Teresa's right. There's some legalities, but there's great vendor partners. And a lot of times there's even some stuff in your management system you might not be using. So check that part out.
Right. And the legal part of that too, usually the company that you're using to do the text messages are the ones that it falls back on and the legalities on them,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
necessarily on the agency. So look into that too. Everybody's getting text today. Who doesn't want? And if they don't want it, they just write stop.
100%. And you're not going to like spam them.
Right.
You're going to send them a one-time text. Be good. The last one we have is referrals. So I'm just a believer everybody can ask for referrals, but I think this one overwhelms people. It even overwhelms sales agents. When we pull sales agents, they say asking for referrals is actually their lowest strength. How do you approach getting people to think about referrals and inserting it into the day-to-day operations?
There are several ways to do that. I always think of my chiropractor. I had a chiropractor a couple of years ago, and he would invite people to these free events. And one of the things you had to fill out on the form was give me the name and the phone number of a friend or family member who could use my services. And I was like, that is genius. He's getting you to write down the name and the phone number so he can call these people. Just when you finish writing a policy or you're with a client and you're finalizing, you could say, how was my service today? Did I answer all your questions? And if
Yeah.
I did, is there somebody else out there, a family or a friend that you think is having trouble with their insurance or needs to review their insurance or has questions about insurance that I can help them with? Because if you did a good job, they want their family and friends taken care of. And the best way to do that is by referring you to their friends and family. So that's the easiest way I think to do it.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like everybody's got a different temperature level on how to ask. Like some sales agents I know are super direct and, hey, I work off of referrals and I'd love to know a couple of people who I could help with insurance. And to some CSRs, account managers or customer service professionals, like that terrifies them, right? Like
Right.
that's way too pushy. I'm not doing that. And like we will get the comment, I am not doing that. So it's like, okay, we've hit a boundary. But I like to say, like, you could just say, hey, we love working with you. If you know anybody that needs help with their insurance, have them call us. It could be like that basic. I had this client who started doing it and they were like, it kind of was a little light bulb moment for me. I'd never heard this before, but they said the reaction they were getting was, oh, you're taking new clients? That's great. They were like, why did people think we weren't? But if you think about like doctors' offices,
Right.
companies, like even my dog groomer is like, we're not taking new dogs. And I think that that's a thing that you don't realize that customers may not realize that you are accepting new clients.
That is it. That's actually a perfect phrase. You could say, yeah, hey, we're taking new clients right now and make them think like it's a new challenge. And yeah, that's a good
We have
idea.
some openings.
Yeah, we have openings. We've got 5 openings. Give me 5 of your friends and family and we'll get them in.
Yeah. It was so, I was like, I never thought about it before because I always just think like, well, it's insurance agency. They're always open for business. But
Right.
when they started, they said they had a couple comments where like people like, oh, that's great. Oh yeah, my sister could probably use insurance. Let me call her. It's just they're like,
Awesome. That is
so
cool.
If your lead gen is low, make sure people know that you are taking new clients.
Right, right.
Well, Therese, this has been awesome. Welcome officially to the APP podcast universe. And I think you bring a ton of value to the team, to the clients out there. So you will see Therese on some different podcasts. We got to get one where it's all of us all together. I know it's the schedules are so fun right now, but
They are.
guys, give us a call if you need any help with anything, and we'll let you guys go back to your day. Thanks for participating, Therese.
Thank you. Have a good day.